Imagine two people, same age, same job, same paycheck. One of them starts putting aside $100 a month at 25. The other one waits until 35 to start but invests $300 a month, 3 times as much, trying to catch up. Who ends up with more money at 65? Most people guess the second person. More money every month, right? It is actually the first person by a wide margin. And when you understand why that is true, the way you think about money will never be the same again. That is exactly what this video is going to show you. Not just the basics, but the actual reason why starting with $100 today is worth more than waiting to start with $500 tomorrow. Stay with me because there is a section toward the end of this video that most people skip past, and it is the exact reason people lose money even when they're doing everything else right. Let me start with something almost nobody explains clearly. When most people picture investing, they picture a stock ticker on a screen, someone in a suit watching numbers move up and down, decisions being made every second. That picture is one of the biggest reasons ordinary people never start. It feels like a world built for someone else. But real investing, the kind that quietly builds wealth for regular people, looks nothing like that. It is slow, it is boring, and that is exactly why it works. Think about it this way. If you plant a tree, you do not stand over it every day measuring whether it grew. You plant it, water it, and give it time. 10 years later, you walk outside and there's a tree. That is what real investing actually looks like for most people who get it right. The two people from the beginning of this video, the reason the earlier starter wins is not skill, it's not luck, it's just time. The money had more years to grow on top of itself. And that process, money earning returns and then those returns earning their own returns, that is the engine running underneath all of it. The reason this matters for $100 is simple. $100 put to work today is not just $100 sitting still. It's the beginning of something that multiplies over time. The exact starting amount matters far less than most people believe. So where does the money actually go? When people say investing, they usually mean the stock market. But what does that actually mean for someone starting with just $100? Here's the clearest way to think about it. Imagine walking into a grocery store, but instead of buying one product off the shelf, you buy a tiny piece of every single product in the entire store at once. Every aisle, every shelf, everything in it. If the store does well overall, your small piece of everything grows. If one particular product has a bad month, it barely affects you because you own thousands of other things at the same time. That is essentially what a broad market fund is, one purchase that spreads your money across hundreds of companies simultaneously. You're not gambling on one company surviving, you are participating in the overall economy moving forward over time. Historically, over long periods of time, that has been a very reasonable thing to count on. Getting into these types of funds has become far more accessible. On most platforms today, $100 is enough to begin. Some let you start with even less. Now, before you open anything, there's one account type worth knowing about that most beginners overlook entirely. Different account types carry different tax rules attached to them. In some accounts, when your money grows and you eventually take it out in retirement, a portion of that growth goes to taxes. In some specific account types, you keep all of it, every dollar of growth untouched. Over decades, that difference alone can be worth more than your original investment. It takes roughly 10 minutes to open the right kind of account instead of the default kind, and those 10 minutes are one of the most financially valuable decisions a beginner can make. A quick search for tax-advantaged retirement accounts in your country will show you exactly what is available where you live. Now, here's the part I mentioned at the very start, the section most people don't think about until it's already cost them something. Everything we've covered so far is fairly easy to understand. The harder part is what happens after you invest. Markets move. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down, and sometimes they go down enough that the news starts using words like crash and crisis. That's the moment that separates people who quietly build wealth over time from the people who end up exactly where they started. When your balance drops, every instinct tells you to act. Sell before things get worse, move the money somewhere safer, wait until things calm down. It feels like the logical, responsible thing to do. But what actually happens is this. The people who sell during a drop lock in that loss permanently. The people who stay in, uncomfortable as it feels, historically recover fully and continue growing from there. Markets have come through recessions, financial collapses, global crises of all kinds, and across all of it, over long enough stretches of time, they have recovered. The real danger in investing is not market drops, it's the emotional reaction to market drops. That is actually what costs most people their returns. Not a bad fund choice, not bad timing, just one panicked decision during a rough stretch. Knowing this before it happens changes how you live through it. When your balance falls one day, and it will, you'll be able to recognize what is happening and remind yourself that patience here is not passive, it is the actual strategy. So, how do you build the habit in a way that actually sticks? The most effective approach for most people is simple: automate it. Pick an amount you can genuinely afford without feeling it each month. Maybe $50, maybe $100. The specific number matters less than making the transfer automatic, so it moves on a set day without requiring a decision from you every time. When you invest on a regular schedule without checking whether the market feels right first, something quietly works in your favor. Some months you're buying when prices are higher. Some months you're buying when prices are lower. Over time, those purchases average out. You stop looking for the perfect moment because you've removed the need to find one. Check your balance occasionally. Quarterly is plenty for most people. You want the kind of relationship with your investments that feels like checking in on a long-term project, not watching a scoreboard every hour. The more you check, the likelier you are to react to something that doesn't need a reaction. Let me bring this all the way back to where we started. Two people, same paycheck, same starting point. The one who began earlier won not because of skill, not because of luck, but because time had more room to work. You can add more money later in life. You genuinely cannot add back the years you have already passed. The most important financial move most people will make is not choosing the perfect investment, it's choosing to start before everything feels perfectly ready, before the amount feels big enough, before the timing feels exactly right. $100 is not too small to matter. It's a starting point, and a starting point, given enough time, quietly becomes something that changes your financial picture in ways that you would surprise you today. I want to hear from you before you close this. Drop one answer in the comments below. If you had $100 available to invest right now, what's the one thing still making you hesitate? Write it down. I genuinely read those comments, and your answer could shape exactly what this channel covers next. If this video gave you something useful, there's another one ready for you right now. Hit the next video, and I'll see you there.